Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. As you read from the title, I'm going to be talking / rambling about my favorite manga series of 2021. This list is in no particular order, and FYI, I will mention minor spoilers. You've been warned. Also, I don't know how, but I accidentally managed to delete the files I had filmed for this video, so now you guys get stuck with this lame ass video. I hope you enjoy. So first off on the list, I have Yona of the Dawn, or Akatsuki no Yona, however you want to call it. And it's probably the series I'm going to be talking about the most because I read about 20 volumes of this last year. So yeah, there is a lot of content there. I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible. In this series, we follow a young princess who didn't really have any worries up until this day in her life, until one night the man who she is in love with murders someone who is very beloved to her. She is chased out and able to escape thanks to her royal and loyal guard Hawk. They end up meeting a priest who basically tells Yona she is the reincarnation of a king who ruled the same kingdom many years ago with the help of 4 dragons. So now Yona and Hawk set out to a quest to not only survive but also find these said dragons. I would say that's the basic premise of this story. But as you would expect, there is war and politics as well. The plot moves at a steady pace and it never really feels dragged out. Seeing Yona start as a spoiled princess to a warrior in itself is worth the read. The dragons are all fun in their own ways and they are distinct from one another, even if they do come from sad backgrounds. I will say that the dragon that made me cry the most was probably Zeno's, his backstory, and once you find out what his power is and what he went through because of it, I just couldn't help but bawl my eyes out, guys. It was so heartbreaking. Anyways, now for the antagonist, Suwon. Much like Yona, I didn't know what to feel for him, whether I should sympathize or hate him, but in the end, I can understand the decisions he made, but not condone them, or condone his actions, I guess. Because what he did was horrible, and he ended up hurting Hawk and Yona. Speaking of Hawk, I don't have a lot to say except I absolutely love him. He is such a badass and loyal character. In fact, one of the main reasons I keep reading this series is to see where Suwon and Hawk's relationship goes. Okay, so now minor spoilers. Skip to this timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled. One of the saddest moments, in my opinion, is seeing flashbacks of their childhood and seeing how much Hawk respected Suwon. Because Hawk wanted Suwon to be the king. He was happy to set aside his feelings for Yona, wanted Suwon and Yona to get married, and he was fine with just being their royal guard. Hawk is this type of character I love and hate now that I think about it. Because they try to do everything right for a person they respect or care about, only to be let down. Like Obi-Wan from Star Wars, but we all know how that ended up. Anyways, long story short, the characters are great. Go read the series. I will say that it's a pretty long series, so that might turn you away. You might want to watch the anime first if you want to see if it piques your interest, but I do recommend both. Alright, I'll shut up about the series. Moving on. Yo, my allergies are the worst today. Okay, next series. I have For the Kid I Saw in My Dreams by Kaisen. If you didn't know, he is the same mangaka of Erase, which I absolutely love, so obviously I had to pick up another title of his. We follow a high school boy named Senri whose family was murdered 13 years ago, and although he didn't really care about his parents, he did suffer a loss of his twin brother. Similarly to Erase, there is this magical / supernatural element, whatever you want to call it. And essentially, Senri could occasionally see and feel whatever his brother was also seeing and feeling at the same time. Now, based on the hints he gets from his brother's last moments, he starts to track down this person in hopes to get justice for his brother. Senri is not a clean character, and what I mean by that is he is a bit of a jerk who doesn't really care how others perceive him, but you can understand the stem of his frustration is due to the fact that law enforcement have lost interest in his brother's case and have left it to gone cold. So you can sympathize with him to a certain extent. But when worse comes to worse, he can be a real homie. The story has suspense, mystery, and drama, which we love that here, right? So I ain't complaining. Whenever we feel Senri is closing in on something, we get some new info or a new clue, but it never really feels forced or out of place, at least from what I've read so far. So I really hope it doesn't go downhill from here, because I'm looking forward to reading the rest, and I've already ordered a couple more volumes. I'm just waiting for them to arrive whenever. This was one of the last series I read in 2021, and honestly, what a way to end it. Oh, well, I guess it's time for me to talk about it. I've been itching to talk about this series for a while, but I just didn't have a good excuse to. This is probably my favorite romance series I read in 2021, which speaks for itself, because there were a lot of great romance series I read last year, but I do think this one takes the cake, and that is a side character's love story. If I had to oversimplify the plot, I would say that it's about two awkward people and their blossoming romance, but honestly, it's a bit more than that. It's about a shy college student named Nobuko who works at a supermarket, and we just follow her interactions with other coworkers, and particularly one who is also a college student named Irie, aka our male lead. And yes, it is about their blossoming romance, but it's also about both of them taking first steps in situations they are unfamiliar with. Nobuko is a very shy and timid person who excessively second guesses herself, which then leads to awkward situations. But when you see her start to open up and voice her thoughts, you just can't help but root for her. Same with Irie. It's his first time falling in love with somebody, and seeing him try to do his best to plan a perfect date and make sure Nobuko is enjoying herself is so cute to read. I don't think there's a better match for Nobuko, since Irie himself is also an introvert who knows when to speak up. He's courteous, kind, respectful, and he knows Nobuko is shy and is constantly watching out for her. I just can't get enough of them. They're so cute. Obviously, I recommend it, but if you are not a fan of awkward moments, maybe it's not for you. Aside from that, the only downside is that it's only available digitally. There's no physical release, but hopefully if there's enough traction, maybe we can get an anime. I'll be happy with that. Another series that caught me off guard, but I'm not too surprised I ended up liking, was Nicola Traveling Around the Demon's World. In it, we just see this little human girl go to the demon's world and meet a demon called Simon, and as the title would imply, they travel around the demon's world. The story and art are very whimsical. It's just a delight to read. The banter between Simon and Nicola is just hysterical. It reminds me a lot of whenever I banter with my little niece and nephew, and it just puts a smile on my face. It's a very light-hearted series, one that you would probably enjoy when you just want to snuggle up and have a chill day. And it's not even long, only 4 volumes, so go read it. Alright, so moving on to the next series is, I mentioned this series many times before to the point that I don't even know what to really talk about it anymore, and that's My Dress Up Darlene. It's a romance series about a boy named Gojo who likes to make dolls and a girl named Marin who likes to cosplay. If you're not reading this at this point, you're either not a fan of romance or not a fan of ecchi. And that's okay, to each their own. The anime is currently airing, so if you're on the fence, just watch the anime. It's great. Marin is best girl, Gojo is super cute. They're super cute together. It's great. Go watch it or read it. Next, I have Attack on Titan. Are we even surprised by this? Because you shouldn't. I don't feel like I have to introduce the series. I'm sure everyone and their goldfish knows what this series is, so I'll just try to keep it brief. Did the manga series end last year? I don't know. 2020 and 2021 have become a blur to me at this point. Anyways, I love Attack on Titan. It holds a special place in my heart. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's honestly the truth. The ending wasn't perfect, but it definitely didn't deserve all the hate it got. An unpopular opinion, but I liked the ending. Yup, I said it. However, something that did rub me the wrong way a bit was how, and I might get hate for this, but certain characters did horrible actions and never really received any consequences for them. Kind of like real life. And it was all because they had a common enemy, so no one really brought it up aside from this one character, but then it was sorta kinda swept under the rug. That was my only real issue with it, but what can we do? I do think that the manga ending and the anime finishing up soon is truly an end of an era. If there is a sequel, you guys already know I'm gonna be on it like butter on toast. And only time will tell if there can be another series that could impact the anime and manga community like Attack on Titan did. I'm looking forward to whatever series that may be in the future. Long story short, Attack on Titan is great. Go read it if you're not already reading it. Okay, and up next I have Happiness by Shuzo Oshimi, whose work has not disappointed me so far. This series is about a high school boy who doesn't really have anything going for him until one night when he is returning a DVD he borrowed and he's attacked by a vampire. The vampire, taking pity on him, gives him the option to either die as a human or continue living as a vampire. And as I mentioned in the previous video, you guys can already imagine his decision without him fully understanding the consequences of the choice he just made. I wanted to read the series just by knowing it was about vampires because I personally love vampire settings, and I like that in this series the vampires are scary. Also, I just wanted to note that this series is not action heavy, it's mostly driven by suspense and drama. It mainly focuses on the actions that certain characters take and how past traumas really push them to do certain decisions in the future. Overall, I really enjoy the series, even though it did make me cry. Now moving on to some honorable mentions. These are titles that I actually really enjoyed as well in 2021, but I didn't want to include them too much in the list or talk about them too much because I feel that everybody is already reading this or know what it is already, and that's My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen. This past year, like, the chapters really picked up for both series. They were always good, but I feel like it really went to the next level this past year. And as well as Chainsaw Man. I don't want to talk about it too much because I feel everybody is also reading it and the anime is coming out soon. So those are just some quick 3 honorable mentions that were also on my top 2021 list. Another honorable mention is My Summer of You, and this series is a romance series between 2 high school boys getting to know each other through their hobby of watching movies. The only reason why this is an honorable mention was because there's 2 volumes and the second volume was pushed back. It's coming out this year, so I don't know. Maybe it might end up in my top 2022 list. Alright, now I think that's it for this video. I think this video has inspired me to make a video of my favorite top manga series of all time. I don't know, maybe I'll make a list of like 10 or 15. But that'll be a future video. My next video will be a manga haul. Again, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!